What's going on, MTO family? Welcome back to this project update. Today is the 2nd of October 2022. So today we will be focusing on a few points on where are we at with the development, where are we at with the NFT update, what has happened with the referrals, as well as I want to touch two topics on what has been discussed on Telegram in the past 7 days, actually, because I've had a few questions from some community members. So I want to discuss mostly into why MTO is focusing on mostly merchants, and if we are competitors to Ethereum, Cardano, or those kind of projects. And also I want to touch base on the most probably blockchain we will be building on, which is Hyperledger, and the reasons why we're building on that, and most importantly on why we have waited so far to actually start building the blockchain. So without further ado, let's just jump straight away into that. So the first thing is, where are we at? Let me show you my screen here. You can see, you can actually go into the website. The link will be in the description. We are currently on the second stage of the Heimdall, which is Heimdall, sorry. We are hoping to be able to release 2 stages this year. The next stage is the early alpha, which is what we're building right now. The previous stage, which is the one that we are currently live on, is basically an MVP, so a minimum valuable product, which you can just get is minimum functionality, so you can actually go and check it out. Links again is in the description for that. But we also have to build other parts of the ecosystem, which is the wallet, the merchant wallet, and as well, very, very important, the management, the automatic dispute management and the community dispute management, which all will be integrated within the ecosystem. And the reason why we're building that before, I will explain it at the end of the video when I talk about the reasons why we're choosing Hyperledger and why we have been delaying a bit the build on the blockchain. So we are currently basically, even though it seems very straightforward, just a wallet and the ecosystem, we still have to build a lot of things that are basically all together with the software and with the ecosystem that we're working on. For instance, the automatic dispute management is the way of managing disputes directly, automatically, without the need of having a human person there. So we actually have to build that and make sure that all of that works. And also the community dispute management, we need to make sure that that works, and that has only this part here has several components that mix together. For instance, there will be an interface that goes with the for the users, like communities like yourself. Then there will be another interface for admins. There will be another interface for those who manage all these transactions. And you know, it is not an easy fit, if I have to be honest. So this is something important that we're working on. We are currently working, and it will be released very soon, the early alpha for both these products, and you will be able to use it. However, they will be working on the ERC20 token, which is the MTO right now, and it will of course not be working on the blockchain. And we are hoping to have the blockchain ready by a temporary, at least, sorry, test network in 2023, which is next year. As you can see here, the next stage will be an early alpha with extended functionalities. So there will be no it won't be too much of a gap between the Veil and the Baldur. However, there will be, of course, extra functionalities that we will be adding and testing as well. That's the reason why we are still bullish that we will be delivering both stages this year itself. So this is where we are at right now. Just a quick recap. I also wanted to talk about the NFTs. Basically, where are we at? We are building, we are drawing at the moment as per stages. So we have managed to draw the Thir. The next one will be Heimdall. Then we're going for Vale, Baldur, Frigg, Thor, and Odin. This will be every single god that we have selected for our roadmap will have its own NFT card. And then we will also create extra cards, maybe with all the gods together and certain kind of things like that. But just to give you an example, I wanted to share to you the idea. Bear in mind that this is just an idea of how it will look like. So this is definitely not the finished product, but just to give you an understanding of what's the idea that we are planning to do for this. Sorry, let me just open the video that I just downloaded. Sorry. Perfect. So this is basically the finished product, that how it will look like. Of course, as you can see, both sides have the same front of the card. As you can see, there is the animation of the god itself here, but we will have, of course, a front and a back. We will have a different colors, for instance, in the borders. There are so many things that we are looking that we're working on here. The animation will definitely be better than what we are looking at. Also the design, this is not even a finished design, but at least you can actually have an idea of what we are aiming to create for you to be able to own automatically. And bear in mind that all the cards that we are creating are going to be completely for free to the ICO members. It will be the card that will be delivered to everybody. There will be then a second card that will be owned to those who own referrals and lock them. There will be other cards that will be sent back to those who invested the most, and so on, so on, so forth. And all the details will be shared later on. But as you can see, we are progressing very quickly. What is taking a long time is actually the design. And the reason for that, I have explained it before, is because we are aiming to do something completely unique and very, very high quality, as you can see here. So the quality of the card is great, the video itself, the animation, but as you can see, this is just a draft still so far, but it already looks quite a finished product. So you have a great idea here on what is gonna look like as well. So that comes from what it is basically updates for this week. This is where we are at. However, I do wanted to talk about more and focus this video about the product or the project itself. The 2 points that I discussed before is why MTO is not a competitor for Ethereum, BTC, ADA, Cardano, Ripple, and every other project out there. So I will be focusing in two main products right now, which are Bitcoin and Ethereum. I had this question made, are we competitors for those projects? And the easy answer is, in a way, of course, we are another crypto project. However, what we are aiming is not like what every other crypto project out there is aiming into. We are not aiming to beat every project out there. We're not aiming to be the first or the top project. That's not our aim. We are aiming to be the link, the connection that is missing right now for the projects. As you can see, for instance, Bitcoin is a great cryptocurrency out there. It's a great project. It's a great idea. It's what actually kickstarted every cryptocurrency out there. But the reason why Bitcoin is not completely, cannot be used to purchase anything yet, as after so many years that has been launched, is because of the way the blockchain works. It is extremely slow, extremely expensive to make transactions. And that's actually the reason why Ethereum was created, which is the top second cryptocurrency right now in the world. And the reason for that is because Ethereum saw the lack of possibilities that BTC has to scale. up. And that's the reason why as well Ada Cardano was born, because it saw that Ethereum itself was lacking on certain capabilities to scale, and as well it was focused into proof of work and not proof of stake, and all those kind of things that people are talking about it right now. But what I want to focus on here is that what we are building here, remember, is an ecosystem that will allow people like you and me to make purchases through merchants directly on a card that you will be able to bring it to you and make a payment on a POS. Bear in mind that the merchant has to update their POS system for them to be able to accept payments on that. So the merchant itself has to join basically the ecosystem. You will also be able to make payments using your wallet directly, or your the merchant token wallet, or any other wallet out there. And most importantly, you will also gain the possibility of being protected by for your purchases with the consumer protection. But what is extremely important here, and what you guys must understand, is that what we're building here is not something, we're not going to force people to use merchant token as a coin or as a currency, not even the next MTO currency. That's not our aim here. Our aim is to get all the projects together and join us. And the reason for that is, of course, the quick answer would be, if people are using merchant token or MTO to make purchases, will we as a token holders not make even more money because it will not be more valuable? And the answer, the straight answer is, of course, yes. But what you have to understand as well is that what we need to build, what we are building, or what we are focusing on here, is for something that will integrate any project out there. So it will be simply by converting your Bitcoins into wrapped Bitcoins into our blockchain, and you will be able to make a payment using Bitcoin or Ethereum. And by doing that, you will not only get people who are interested into our project, but you will also be able to get easily all the projects to get on board, and even then just to integrate our solutions and our ecosystem into their own projects, which is going to be mind-blowing. And the reason and the way for the projects to earn and move forward is the same like all the projects are doing. That's the reason why Ethereum is so successful, because of all the projects that were built within Ethereum itself. So by just paying gas fees, and even though we are aiming to have such a low gas fees, if you build up a lot of volume, and if you get a lot of merchants as well to join you, then you will have a lot of volume itself, and people are going to be paying, even if a fraction of a pennies are going to be paying in gas fees. If you multiply that by millions of transactions, hopefully every day, then the whole ecosystem will move forward. And if you consider that we only have 100 million tokens, and those 100 million tokens have been already all distributed to all the community members, and that 7.5 million have been burned, and most importantly, that there is a burning mechanism built into our algorithms, then we will always be reducing that very slowly, but it will be reducing that total supply, which will, of course, hopefully increase the value of the token. But again, I am not going to be talking about possible price predictions, because that's not the aim of this video. What I'm aiming for right now is to give you an understanding on why we're focusing on that. But most importantly, and I want to clarify this, which is the extremely important part on why I, personally speaking, am so bullish about this project. And it's not just because I work here, but it's because the whole technology is being built by Hips. Hips is a very important company in the payment industry, which has a lot of connection. And the way it works, the company, is basically having clients who manage merchants and other businesses. And those other businesses basically bring customers as well. And I have said this hundreds of times already in my videos, but I really wanted to clarify the reason for this. So if you build an ecosystem and you have, I don't know, a million merchants, hopefully. We never know how many people are we going to be managed to get. But let's hope that we expand this and we are very successful and we manage to achieve and to get into our ecosystem a lot of merchants. Every merchant will bring millions of other customers as well. But what is more important is when we mix this part to what I was saying earlier, which is basically allowing other projects to integrate us into their businesses. Because if you consider that, yeah, it will be easier or more profitable, I would say, for Ethereum to have their own payment solution. And they might be able to copy us because, of course, remember that the 90%, I would say, of our system will be open source. However, you cannot copy our ecosystem. That's something that we will be building and that we will have. So yes, it would be the same of saying, oh, I can process a payment like MasterCard or Visa, let's say, but you don't have that ecosystem that they built. You don't have their merchants, you don't have their sales points and all these kind of things. And this is why I have said it hundreds of times that our focus, it is not gaining other token holders. That is not our focus. Our focus is towards merchants, because once we achieve to capture those merchants, and once we build that ecosystem of hopefully millions of merchants, then we will be able to compete towards other projects in that sense. Because then the offers that we will be making to other projects is, you can come to us, you can bring your community to us, make payments into our merchants ecosystem, but also, of course, by integrating our projects, you can expand to other merchants that maybe are part of your ecosystem. Because just imagine how many merchants actually, or how many people who own businesses own also Ethereum or would love to actually accept payments in Ethereum. That's something that could be expanded as well. Yes, there will be the caveat on their side that they will be actually, technically speaking, using a different blockchain to make that payment. But in that sense, it will only expand them. So there will be always that gain on both sides, both us as a project and them as other project as well. So that's the main part on why we're not really competitors out there to those big projects, but we are actually building something that they could then utilize for their own purposes, and that we are not really scared in a way that they can copy us. What is really important for us is for us to be careful right now on what we release, because if someone steals our technology right now and then they start building their ecosystem on their own, stealing us the merchants that we would be using, then that will be a big blow on our project and our ecosystem. And that's why we are very, very secretive with certain things, and with, most importantly, with technology that we're building here. But once everything is completed, once we are the first, because so far there is no competitors out there that I have knowledge of. Every other project that gives what we try to bring into the cryptocurrency world, everything is centralized, because there is no one yet that can actually build something like what we are trying to build. And that leads me actually to the next point, which is, why have we waited so far to even start building the blockchain? So, and why are we actually focused right now? The main peak is hyperledger. We haven't 100% yet decided that we're actually going to go for hyperledger, but this is what our resources are most into on the research part. We have a lot of other developers that are looking into other blockchains or other solutions for our blockchain, but our main focus right now is hyperledger, and that's what we are actually building the ideas around. This is not yet set in stone, so it could change if we find something even better than hyperledger. But let me just start with why have we waited so far to build that, to start even building the blockchain. And the main reason is, the only actually reason is, it's a matter of of logistics. We knew we had to build this ecosystem. The ecosystem has different parts that are built and then put together. Those parts can be built separate, which is the wallet, for instance. So we decided, or the protocol, for instance, so we decided to build both of them first, so that in the meantime, we knew it was going to take a certain amount of time. So because Hyperledger, which is the blockchain or the project, the protocol that we are actually aiming to actually build our blockchain into, has a big ecosystem and keeps evolving every time. So just imagine if you start building something and then 1 year down the line there is something way better coming up, and you knew that you cannot launch your project for a year because you have to build what you're building on right now, which is the other parts of the ecosystem. And that's the reason why we were waiting so far, because there is something that there is always content evolution. And even most important right now that we are going through a bear market, there is even more building into those projects and into that technology. And that's the reason why our developers have been still researching and seeing every evolution that has happened in the technology to try to integrate it into our own, so that when we're gonna pick that technology, we will have already will be up to date with all the progress that could happen, and then we will build on top of that. Of course, then there will be other progress, but at that point, we will then be ready for us to release that to the public. And that's, I think, is something very, very important. And now, the reason why we are aiming into Hyperledger, I am not going to go into any technical, otherwise I will stay here for an hour, and I really don't want to go for that. I really want to close the video in the next 5 minutes, because I want it to be less than 30 minutes as always. But the most important part of why we're building into Hyperledger is what we're trying to build. So just to give you a very simple understanding on how Bitcoin works. Bitcoin is just a ledger that is basically a list of transactions. That is it, to make it extremely simple. A list of transactions that anybody can access. So that means that if Victor wants to send money to John, basically the ledger, you can go and check that, do I have that money, first of all, that I want to send, and then that money gets removed from my wallet, added into John's wallet, and that transaction appears in the ledger, get recorded, and get put in the block, and then the block in the chain. And that's the reason why it's actually called blockchain. But the problem and like the kind of issue with that is that all the information in there is completely public. You can go and check it out. You might not be able to find out who owns the wallet or a specific wallet, but you can 100% go and check all the transaction that has happened in there. So if by any chance you get even one transaction or one wallet to be linked to a person, then you could easily figure it out, that person or that wallet, who owns that wallet, or who is that person, or all the transactions that happen before or after that, who were done by. Because if, I don't know, I'm making transactions right now, and then you, 10 years from now, you figure it out that this specific wallet has been linked to me, for any reason, then you can actually backtrack all my transactions. And that is not a problem here, but what we are trying to do is, for us, remember that everything we're building here is completely decentralized. So we're actually trying to do consumer protection. For that, we're trying to get a payment to be sent from a customer to a merchant for a product. But the product as well has to be sent back or shipped back to the consumer, or even a service. And there is a ton of information in there that should not be public. You don't want to be able to say, oh, who bought this, or this person, name, last name, and find out as well the address of that person. So we cannot build into a public blockchain like Bitcoin. So we have to build into something more private, like a Hyperledger. So in the meantime, that not everybody will be able to have access to all the information that you yourself will be using as a customer. And not only that, because it's not only who can access to, like the customer being able to access that information, but for instance, if you have certain information that needs to be shared, you don't have to share all that information with every person or every partner that is included in that transaction. For instance, you're sending a payment to buy a camera or a microphone, let's say, and then you have to get it shipped, that microphone. But you don't actually have to provide all that information to the merchant and as well to the shipping company. You can provide certain information to the merchant and certain information to the shipping company. Then, so that not everybody can actually have access to all the information as well. So that will also give a lot more privacy and a lot more security to the network. And that's the reason why right now we are actually focusing on Hyperledger. In something else comes down the line, or by the time we start even building that is even better than Hyperledger, then that will be our aim. Because the other issue with this is that we need to make sure that the gas fees are as low as possible, and most importantly that the transactions that can process a ton of transactions per second. And those are the things that we need to do. So we need to make sure that the system is decentralized, that the majority or I would say the confidential information stays confidential and private. So that's another challenge that we need to do, that we can add consumer protection while not having a company to rely on, because that's another main issue. Just imagine right now, if you buy something from Amazon or any other company that offers consumer protection, you buy it just because you know it's easy for you to complain and then get either your money back or have a refund or have a replacement of what you bought. And you know that that will arrive and that will be done because there is that person that actually owns or that company that actually owns the money that you're sending. But right now, we're doing something where nobody owns anything. So you won't have like a person, or you cannot call me and say, oh yeah, my money is stuck there, can you please release it or refund it? That's not how decentralization works. The whole point is that anyone could be part of the ecosystem. Anyone can actually have access to your funds to be able to be refunded. But of course, we need to make sure that anyone cannot access those funds and take them from them for themselves, and that there will not be any issues that you actually need someone to intervene. And you know, it's technology, so we know how everything works, and that's the reason why it is extremely important that we are focusing and that we are building something that is going to be extremely strong and that it will hold up for the years to come. So anyway, guys, is 30 minutes already for this live stream. As I say, I really want to keep them short so that the more people will actually watch them until the end. And if you haven't done so, just don't forget to subscribe. And most importantly, to like this video so that it will be promoted to even more and more people again. And if you watch it all in its entirety, thank you so much. And thank you so much for being here. In the meantime, don't forget to join the Telegram group. If you have any questions, I will answer them there directly. Have a good day then.